Hello everybody. So today in this how-to video, I will be demonstrating how to do a graphite transfer while using tracing paper. What we'll be doing today is that we will be lifting something from a sketchbook and then putting it onto a nice canvas that we could go into with paint. So that's going to be very handy. So let's talk supplies. So absolute bare minimum you can do this with is any cruddy pencil and then any piece of printer paper, okay? It just needs to be somewhat thin so you can see through it if you blast it with light, okay? But this is, possible, but we wanna kind of update it to streamline the process and make it easier to use, okay? So in order to do that, what I would recommend using is one, tracing paper, very useful, recommend getting your hands on some of this. And on that note, if you really want to commit, you can buy a whole roll of this stuff, which is great. That's what I use. Also, you will need a soft pencil. Okay, this is a 6B. Quite awesome for a lot of things, but really that's going to be the material that's being transferred over. Okay. Also a harder pencil. So this is an HB, or a 2H would work great too. An eraser for adjusting your drawing and if you make any mistakes. A pencil sharpener. So this is going to be very useful for inevitably when this gets dull, okay, from tracing, we can keep that bad boy sharp. And then painter's tape, okay? The important thing about this is that you want tape that doesn't stick to the paper so much, or that when you take it off, it doesn't rip the paper, okay? Excellent. So obviously the other thing that you'll want to do is have your drawing ready to go, okay? So this is the one I'll be using. Old drawing from a sketchbook, and then your final canvas piece. Okay, I'll just show you that, guys, now. We'll come back to him later. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so there we go. As you can see, as I went along, I'm gonna go ahead and take it off so we don't have to see the underdrawing as well. And as you see, the tape comes off very easily. Glad that went according as to planned. This is our initial trace, okay? So as you notice, I did make some creative decisions here where I tried to fix some of the perspective. Add a little bit there. Boop. There we go. And also I added a pocket, things like that. Another wonderful thing about this process is that you can kind of keep creating as you go. In each drawing, you kind of re-examine what you did, add a little bit, take a little bit away, and hopefully it gets better and better, okay? So if I wanted to have a mirror image of this, I could just flip this over and do my transfer process, which we'll get to in a second. But in this case, I can kind of compare the two, make a decision now. I still like my original orientation on this one more. So what I'm going to do at this point is take off my tape, which I have plenty of, thankfully, okay? Flip it over, and then I'm going to trace this image again, but on the other side of the transfer paper. So keep in mind, whichever side has that graphite on it is going to be what is pushed across onto our final canvas. So I like to think of this as like a stamp. So it's like I'm putting ink on a stamp, okay? So, once again, here we go. More tracing. Okay, so there we go. As you can kind of see, as I traced over that image, it pushed through my original trace onto my back paper, okay? So hint, hint, that's kind of where we're going. Now what we're gonna do is flip this, because what we just traced is basically the ink in our stamp, okay? So we're gonna find our original canvas, okay? Decide which side we want is up. Yeah, that side's nicer, okay? And then we're gonna put this on top. Actually, we're gonna tape him down first. Getting ahead of myself here, okay? So I'm not too worried about him going anywhere, so we can just do one piece of tape, okay? And this guy, we're gonna line him up just how we want to see on the final canvas. Okay, And then put a little bit of tape down here. Get him just right. Perfect, okay. As I am, being a little over the top here with my lining up, I think it's worth mentioning that this isn't technically my final piece, okay? There's still plenty of room for adjustment. This is all just graphite. I could totally go in, even on my final canvas, and just erase it and fix mistakes. As you noticed on my last trace, there was still creative decisions I was making. So it's another just great process for refining a piece, okay? And then what I like to do at this point is put another piece of tracing paper over the whole thing, okay? This is just kind of a way to ensure that if I do make a mistake, it's very easy to go back and restart with the original piece that I just traced, okay? So yeah, and I'm gonna I really, really wanna make sure this isn't moving anywhere or sliding around, so I'm gonna take an extra piece, put them on the bottom here. There we go, perfect, okay? So this is essentially gonna be a guard, just so that when we take our hard pencil and go over everything, we're not destroying that original trace, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. So what you can see is I essentially pressed through all the graphite. So this is our first layer. This is our second layer. Drum roll, please. And finally, once we take off that nice painter's tape very carefully, there we go. So on our final canvas, I'll take everything off here so you can see. We have a nice ghostly image of our original drawing, okay? Boop. If not, slightly refined. So from here, I could go back in with a pencil, which I probably would need to because I forgot a few spots. Whoops, that's okay. Or I could go in with some ink, just directly do that and make it a nice black and white drawing. Or I could paint this, okay? This is what I'm kind of intending to do, and that's why I use this really thick gauged paper. So yeah, I really hope you guys like this. Thank you for tuning in today and seeing what I have to do. I will look forward to seeing how you guys use this in your creative process. It's cool. Have a good one, you guys. Goodbye.